Hi, thank you so much for joining me, and today I'm using Vicki Boutin's Where To Next collection along with this stencil. It's an old stencil from my stash. I think it was the Simple Stories one from one of their travel collections, maybe Let's Go. And I'm pushing some, oh gosh, what's it called? The Speckled Egg Distress Oxide through that stencil just to create like a street scene almost. You can see the photos to the left hand side of my page there. They are printed 2x3 and they're just the buildings as we were walking towards the hotel, and then there's one of the entrance to the Hard Rock Hotel, which is where we were staying. So this is just to document our journey from JFK to the hotel. So I've now pulled out this All and Create stencil, which is a compass, and this will mostly get covered by the embellishments. There's nothing new there really, is there? In fact, most of the stenciling gets covered, but it does still peek out and I'm happy with that. So just pushing it through the stencil, not worrying too much. I know on the right hand side the photo is going to be there, so I'm really not worried about that bit. It's more this left hand side that I thought was going to show more than it did. So there we have it. Now I'm just going to map these photos onto some white cardstock just to provide a little frame for them, and then I will map them onto black once they're on white, just so that it gives a really good definition against the paper that I'm going to use. So I'm pulling out the scraps that I've got in this kit, and first of all I find this matte paper, which I love, but it really does blend into the background with that stencil work that I've got going on. So I trim it down to about 11 inches, 10.5 inches, and then I bring out this ticket paper and just tear an edge of that to add to the right hand side, but that doesn't work for me either. So you'll see how I change and evolve as I'm doing this. I've pulled out that chipboard frame that I'm just touching now, and I'm going to cut that in half and double layer it to the left hand side of these photos. I wanted to emulate the tall buildings really with this, and just as two frames it wasn't enough to do that, so I'm wanting everything to be vertical on this layout, just to, as I say, copy those buildings that are in the photos. So I'd spotted this journal card that says details on it, and it's that nice green, so I wanted to bring that in as well because we've got the green lights in that third photo down. And I'm still playing, still know that I'm not happy, but wondering where I'm going to go with this. As I say, the photos are printed 2x3 because they're not really of any significance. They're just Amelia snapped photos as we were walking to the hotel with our cases. We'd used the air train from JFK to the subway, and then taken the subway up to about 3 streets down from our hotel, and then just had to walk up from there, and it was really easy actually. I'd highly recommended it. One of Ross's friends had recommended it, and we'd definitely do it again. Saves $100 and odd on a taxi for sure. So just distressing all the edges of this paper. I know I definitely want to use this paper, but I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to incorporate it. So I pulled out this scrap of yellow lined paper. I'd used it previously to die cut some stars, but those die cut pieces will be covered by the other paper, so I'm not too concerned about that, and I think that's how I'm going to have it. So I'm just pulling out some tickets now from the ephemera box. This is ephemera, papier, and fussy cut pieces from the tickets paper. It's varying pieces there. I'm just tucking along the edge there. I'm trying to create definition, as I say, between that white paper, the matte paper, and then the background. So this is what I was saying about these two frame pieces. I wanted to create a nice vertical line there, and it's the black that I wanted to bring in more, because obviously these are nighttime photos, so I definitely wanted more black on the page. So I know that they're going to go on the left hand side here. I know that that strip of paper is going to go slightly off centre, slightly towards the left hand side, so I'm going to glue these down, so at least I'm making a start. And then I'll glue this down. I'm just, again, going to rough the edges up. Just got to be a bit careful where those die cut parts are, because obviously it's very thin. I don't want it to rip. But I managed to get past those and then work on the rest. Just the same on the other side, just being a little bit careful along there. And then I can glue that down. So just making sure that I move it to the left enough to cover those frame pieces before I carry on. So you can see it at first, I don't move it over enough, but then I realise So that's that down, and then I'm going to add this piece down. Just messing with my glue there. It really doesn't want to come out very much at the moment. And just making sure that all of those die cut holes are covered. And then onto the journaling card, because I know I want that to go in the bottom where I had it before. So just distressing those edges with my edge distresser from Tim Holtz. And then getting that tucked under. And I just want to leave enough room that I can add my journaling about how we got the air train, because this is an important part of our story, so I wanted to make sure that I did a page covering that. And then just tucking those tickets in. So I'd love to know, let me know in the comments, do you use your pages as diaries? I feel like mine are more diaries. I'm definitely telling a story with each of them and recording the memories of what we did and how we felt, rather than just documenting the photos. I feel like a lot of people do beautiful pages with a photo on, but there's no story there, and I'm definitely a storyteller. I definitely like to know the story behind the photo, so I'd love to know. Do let me know in the comments. So there, as I say, I've just added a black card backing to those photos now, just to make them pop off that white paper, and that really does make a big difference. I'm much happier with how they're looking. So I decided to commit and glue those down to the paper, and then I can work out how to carry on embellishing after that. I feel a bit tongue-tied today. So I'm gluing down the ones that are going flat on the page first, and then adding the other two overlapping afterwards. I think I've mentioned this in videos before. I like things to be connecting when I create scrapbook pages, so you tend to find that everything's all clustered together on my layouts. So I want to add the title now, and the title is going to be We Are Here, because obviously this is documenting us arriving. And I'm using these Elle Studio large Jane alphabet stamps. These are the outline stamps, and I'm going to use them today. I normally use them with my archival ink, but today I'm going to use them with a Distress Oxide ink, because I do want to blur them a little bit once they're down. It was quite wet. It wasn't raining, but it was quite wet when we arrived. So we're walking through wet streets. So I just wanted to copy that really with the way that I do the title. I hope that makes sense. So I've just sort of roughly laid the letters out to check that I could get it centrally. I still don't, but I'd find a workaround for that. So now I'm just going to stamp all this down. I won't make you watch it all. I'll just see the first word. And then, as if by magic, there's the rest. So where I've used the same letter twice, you saw there on here, I just had to stamp the second E separately. So now I'm literally just going over with some water and my paintbrush to just blend that ink across the page a little bit more. And it does look like it's just got a little bit wet, which is what's happened, isn't it? But just to make it bleed a little bit so that it looks a bit waterlogged like the city was when we arrived. So now going through the ephemera pack again and seeing what else I can find. I wanted to bring that navy blue over to the left, so found this tag that says hello, and I definitely want to use that, but I just couldn't decide where to put it. I think until you've added more embellishments, it's very difficult to work out exactly how you're going to do things. You can see the title's a little bit far down on the right hand side, so I want to add something at the top there. I'm thinking about this star, but it isn't that star that I add in the end. I find something better. So I've added that little Perspex or acrylic heart-shaped paper clip to the second photo, and now I'm just covering that details tag with the navy blue on the go banner. I just felt that would work better with now I've introduced more navy blue to the page. So I'm thinking about adding this ticket here or journaling spot, and in the end I cut it in half and just use it as almost like a label, just another layer around the page. So half goes at the top there behind that heart, and I do use that for my date in the end, and then this other piece I'm just playing around with trying to decide where to put it. Then I find this other tag, and this says today, so I think that's perfect at the top there behind that heart, and then that's why I decided to choose to add the date to that label that I'd just added. Another little ticket to tuck into that right hand side, just to continue with those tickets. I've done this before on a layout. I really liked how it looked. So when it's about travel and things, I thought that's a really nice way of doing it. I think the other layout was our last day in New York, in fact, so that's quite a nice way to have this at the beginning and the end of the album. Another ticket at the bottom there that said Subway. I couldn't not use that, seeing as we'd used the subway to get there. and another one that says Subway. So just deciding where to put that, and I decided it's going to go next to that blue hello tag. So again, just sorry, struggling with my glue. I should have cut that bit out really. I'm just getting that tucked under the tag. And then I realised that the tag isn't actually stuck down, so I'm going to add that. And I'm not happy with that little space to the right hand side of the H there, so I will work on that shortly. So just as I find the tickets as I'm going through, just tucking a few more in. And then I find this sign that says, just because I don't know where I'm going doesn't mean I'm lost. It did take us a little while to find the hotel. We had the address, but and Manhattan, I don't know whether you've been before, whether you know about the layout, but it's avenues that go north to south, and then streets go east to west, and they go up from the bottom of Manhattan. They count up the streets. So we knew the address, but we weren't sure whereabouts on the street it was. It took us, whether it was the left of the avenue or the right of the avenue, so it took a little bit to find it, but we did. It wasn't too much hassle. So you can see I'm just continuing to add little bits and pieces as I go around, still playing with this second half of that label, but I ripped it in half, and you've seen I added half underneath that hello tag, and then the other half I've added to that blank space that I was worried about next to the H. And then I find this little binder clip, so I'm just going to add that to that second photo, and I will find another one to add to that shortly as well. Another ticket which is going to go next to the hello tag in the end. I realised I haven't glued those down, so just adding some glue to them. I had it there at the top at first, but I'm not happy with the way it juts out. I didn't like the shape it was creating, so just added that underneath. So now going through the sticker book and just seeing what I can find in here, and straight away I spot these geotags, and I think a yellow geotag is just what I'm looking for on the title there. Now I want to make it look a little bit bigger, so I will do some doodling around it just to increase the size a little bit. Another binder tag to go there over that washi one, and a smaller one at the bottom there just to continue that theme. And then I find these little black arrows that I think are just nice to add, one to the left that points to the hotel. So this is where I'm going to doodle. So first of all inside the circle, and then just a few wonky lines outside, about a couple of millimetres outside, and that just increases the size of that geotag to where I'm happy with it. And now I'm going to add some wax twine to the tag holes here. So first of all, focusing on that binder clip that I've got on the fourth photo, and going up through the hello tag and then up to that top one that says today. And I'll just thread those strings around and down. I realised that I hadn't stuck that today down either. I really fiddled a lot with this layout. There's a lot going on, so sometimes I was just positioning things but not actually gluing them down, and it's only when I come to do things like this that I realise. So just getting those threads in place, and you can see I've tucked them under that frame at the top just to hold them at the top there. Just tucking them behind that top corner. And then I've got the other tag to deal with, well, the binder clip on that third photo. So I'm just going to thread some thread through there and then let it tail down to the right, just like that. Now I'm still thinking about what to do, how to bring that navy blue over a bit more to the left. So first of all, I'm going to add my journaling and then my date to that label, as I mentioned. And this is where I bring in another paper. So I pulled out this navy blue that's in the collection, and I'm just going to tear a strip and stick that down to the left. And that really finishes the layout off for me. I felt like it was a bit heavy on the right hand side, and I definitely wanted some more navy on the left. So doing this just balances it all out again. You'll see what I mean when I stick this down. So there we go. All glued down, and can you see how much more balanced that looks now? Yeah, much happier with that. So I just wanted to tear the bottom edge off that yellow paper because I didn't want that to be a full 12 inches now that I'd added the 12-inch strip to the left. So I'm just tearing a tiny section of that off and curling it up a little bit, and that's layout done. I really hope you've enjoyed this and it's provided some inspiration. It's very busy, but I do love it. I shall see you again very soon. Thanks so much. Bye.